Oh, hey, look. We all have our phones with us during their 24 hours a day. Some people have it with them 24 hours a day. Hell, some people even sleep with their phones. So if you're going to have this device taking up so much of your time, being so much of a time suck, instead of having it just be a time suck, you might as well use it as a tool to learn Spanish and take your Spanish learning to a whole nother level. Okay? So today, what we're going over is cell phone Spanish. Because if you get this right, if you use this device right, then it will catapult your Spanish learning, your language learning to a whole nother level. Fast. I know it's done for me. So, without further ado, let's get down to it.
So, look, it's simple. You can just change your language of your settings to Spanish. And I have it in English now because I wanted to take you through how easy it is. So we just go in our settings. Okay. Most phones look the same. They have a settings, no matter what type of phone you have. I'm on a Samsung right now, in case you're wondering. Okay. So let's just go to the language settings right here. Under general management. So 3 bars, general management. Go to the language settings. You can see language right now. I have it on English, US, but I have Colombia as a backup, Espanol Colombia. That's the one I have chosen to add as my main language that I change over to and I use as a primary language so that I could improve upon my Spanish. So changed it there. You see, it changed the text right away. So it's not a scary thing to do. So don't be a wuss. You can always change it back. But if you're serious about leveling up your Spanish, I suggest you do that. So if I wanted to change it back, I could change it, simply push English again, apply, and it's back to English. So it's just that simple. So let's go over and change it to my Espanol Colombia. I chose Espanol Colombia. They have different Spanish versions. If you see
Añadir idioma.
if you want to add a language, there it is. It's all there. And if you put Spanish, it's going to give you different target regions like Spanish, Argentina, Bolivia, Chile, Cuba. I chose Colombia because that's the target country that I visit the most. And also is known as a country that really, if you want to learn Spanish, is one of the easiest, clearest places to learn. So that's why I did it. So Espanol Colombia, okay? And you see el idioma ubicado. Idioma means language in Spanish, okay? So idioma. El idioma ubicado en la parte superior de la lista se usará de forma predeterminada. Si una aplicación no emite su idioma predeterminado, se usará el siguiente idioma de la lista. Okay, so basically that's saying your chosen language is at the top of the list. The chosen language that you have predetermined, predeterminada. And if an application, any application doesn't emit your chosen language, in my case, Espanol Colombia, Colombian Spanish, then it will use the following secondary language in the list, okay, which is my native language, English, okay? All right, so let's exit out of that. Okay, now, so the reason why this cell phone, mobile phone type of Spanish is really so good, a great move to really level up your Spanish is because you are in an environment that we're all in every day. You're in a familiar environment, that mobile phone type of environment. You're in it. You see the icons, you see the messages popping up all day long. Okay. So it gives you a familiar environment and practical knowledge from which to build your Spanish upon. Okay. Because even if you don't know what a particular Spanish word is, you can kind of gather it because you're in a familiar surrounding. Okay, so like for instance, this gear icon, we see it every day on our phones. Okay, now even if you don't know what the Spanish word is for this, you know the English is settings. You know when you see that gear icon is settings. So it says ajustes at the bottom of this now in Spanish. So that will tell you that settings, oh, that means ajustes in Spanish. You see? Okay, so let's open up the ajustes. Okay, ajustes, Spanish. Okay, now we scroll down. Okay, and we see things like conexiones. Now, in your settings, you automatically know what's in your settings. You can kind of you already know what's kind of in your settings. Things about your connections, your Wi-Fi, your other settings, your screen, and things like that. So we've seen this icon before. You've seen it before. This icon, oh, you already know it means connections or something. So when you see conexiones next to it, you can gather that means connections. And right under it, it says Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, administrador de SIM. Those words are just like English. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, you already know what it means. SIM, you know what a SIM card is. Administrador de SIM. It's the pronunciation is different, a little different. Okay. And if you've been going over that Spanish alphabet video that I made for you, you'll understand why these Spanish words are pronounced the way they do. But that's it. And under there, you see this icon with a little tablet, like phone and everything. You already know what that icon means. You've seen it before. It means devices. So when it says dispositivos conectados, you already know what it means. Connected devices. In this case, devices connected, because that's a different word order that Spanish follows, which we'll talk about later, but you already know what it means. Connected devices. Devices connected, same thing, okay? Let's go down a little further, okay? Look, okay, little speaker sound like kind. You've seen it in your settings before. You know it means something about sound. You already know. So when you see sonidos y vibración, okay, sonidos y vibración, you already know due to the context that it's something about sounds. Okay, so sounds, oh, sonidos means sound in Spanish. And vibración, even though that word is trying to hide in Spanish, you already know, you can gather, if you guess that it means vibration, then you would be right. Okay, you would be right. See, it's just that easy because you're in this familiar environment. You're using your context clues and you're learning practical language, not some stuff that you'll never use. This is useful Spanish vocabulary that you're building up just by changing the settings of your phone to Spanish. Now, we have notificaciones. Now, come on, listen to that word, notificaciones. And then look at the icon, like a little letter or some type of notification. Come on. And especially we're in your settings. So you already know in your settings, you find something about notifications or something like that. So notificaciones, that word can't hide from you. You already know what it means. What does it mean? You said it. What? Yep. Notifications. Notificaciones. Let's go through a few more. Okay. Now, you know in the settings, hey, it's always something about your screen and all this type of stuff. So look, what do you think that little like a little sun ray type of icon means? You already know. It means something about screen. So the pantalla, what do you think that means? Screen. Yeah, pantalla. Brillo. Protector de la vista. Barra de navegación. So brillo, how bright you want it. Protection of the view. You know. Barra de navegación. How you want your navigation bar to be. Everything related to your screen is there. Let's look at another one. You already know in your settings, in that surrounding on your phone, you already know it's something about your battery. Every phone has that. I don't care what kind of phone you have, Android, iPhone, whatever. So what does that word look like to you? Also, is a dead giveaway right next to it with a battery icon right next to it. So there you go. Battery in Spanish is batería. Batería. Okay? So that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. This is really contextual language. Now you're really using your phone as a tool instead of just a time suck to learn Spanish, to learn practical language that you can get out there and really use in real life, and not some old, like a lot of these Spanish courses go over and just give you like little stuff like
oh, the cat jumped over the moon, or the pig wore a blue dress. Like all this type of stuff. Stuff you're not going to use.
Okay. Now let's look at another. Okay. You see this icon with this heart. Say, bienestar digital y controles parentales. Okay. Now, in your settings on your phone, there's always something nowadays about health and parental controls and stuff like that. So, yes, bienestar digital is digital health. Y controles parentales is parental control. You see the root word control in there. And you see the root word parent in parentales. That's it. Parental control. Controles parentales. See, you're trying to hide it in the Spanish word, but don't let them try to fool you with the Spanish. Put your thinking cap on. Look at that root word and you'll figure it out what it means, okay? Because usually our English root word is going to be somewhere hiding in there in the Spanish. Not all the time, but oftentimes it will be. And just the stem of it changes a little bit. They put a little ES. We'll say controls, they say controles. We'll say parental, they say parentales. Just to Spanify it a little bit. Put that little Spanish twang on it. That's it. Okay? Now, in settings 2, you're going to have something about accessibility. Accessibility because you want to be accessible to everybody, whether they have physical ailments, handicaps, whatever you want to call it, accessibility. So accessibilidad. Okay? That's it. Accessibility. Accessibilidad. Okay? See under there, they have the person right there. Okay? Visión. Audición. Destreza. Okay? So audio, visual, everything. Now, one last one I'm going to go over in the settings section is acerca del teléfono. Okay? Now that you already know on your phone, in the settings especially, the I usually is going to be something about information, something about your phone, whatever. Okay? So acerca del teléfono. Acerca del teléfono means about your phone. That's it. Under there you see estado, which is state. Información legal. Legal information. Nombre del teléfono. The name of your phone. Everything. Okay. So yeah, this is just a little video. And you see it changes when you change the language of the phone. It changes the names even under the icons. We backed out of the settings, but it changes the names even under the icons. So you start on the main icon. So you start really seeing and understanding practical words that you see every day. And that's starting to build your vocabulary. Your Spanish vocabulary is starting to build. So don't underestimate this pivotal move. Change the language of your phone to Spanish. I'll say it again, change the language of your phone to Spanish. It really helped me. It's one of my main key drivers that really took my Spanish to the next level. So look, this clock right here, you might not know what the Spanish word for clock is, but it's right under there. Reloj. There you go. Calendar. You already know that icon means calendar. So under that, calendario, now you have the Spanish word. Right here, you see those sound waves again. So you already know it means record something or whatever. So grabadora de voz means voice recorder. Okay. Another one, You see a big phone there, so you already know what it means. It means telephone. So when you see teléfono, which look just like telephone with an accent, and maybe a few letters changed and different pronunciation slightly, you already know what it means. Teléfono. Now you know how to say telephone in Spanish. Teléfono. Okay? The reason why you're putting that little stress on the tele, is that accent mark. Teléfono. Teléfono. Okay?
Okay, hey, well, that's all for now. Thanks for joining me. And until next time, remember, you don't have to be perfect. Just be good enough.